Most people think discipline is about motivation. They wait to feel inspired before taking action. But motivation is unreliable because feelings constantly change. Some days you feel energetic and productive. Other days you feel tired and distracted. Self-discipline works differently. It allows you to act regardless of your emotions. The people who consistently succeed are not always motivated. They simply built systems that help them keep moving forward even when they do not feel like it. That is the hidden psychology behind self-discipline and why it matters so much. Many people believe disciplined individuals were simply born that way. In reality, discipline is a skill that anyone can develop through repetition. The brain adapts to repeated behaviors and eventually makes them easier to perform. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you strengthen that habit. Small actions repeated daily become automatic over time. This is why disciplined people appear consistent. They are not relying on willpower every day. They are relying on systems they have already trained themselves to follow. Most people underestimate the power of their environment. Your surroundings influence your choices more than your intentions. If distractions are everywhere, you will eventually give in to them. Disciplined people make success easier by removing obstacles before they begin. They place healthy choices within reach and make bad habits harder to access. Instead of fighting temptation every day, they redesign their environment. A cleaner workspace, fewer notifications, and a structured routine can reduce decision fatigue. Sometimes changing one small thing around you can completely change your behavior over time and make good habits easier to maintain. Your environment plays a bigger role in your discipline than most people realize. Willpower is limited, but your surroundings constantly influence your decisions. If distractions are always visible, you will eventually give in to them. Disciplined people design their environment to support better choices. They reduce friction for good habits and increase friction for bad ones. For example, keeping your phone away while working or preparing your tasks in advance makes discipline easier. Instead of relying on motivation, they rely on structure. When your environment works with you instead of against you, consistency becomes much easier to maintain. One of the biggest mistakes people make when building discipline is trying to change everything overnight. They create extreme goals, push too hard, and eventually lose consistency. The brain responds better to small, repeated actions because they feel easier to maintain. A simple habit completed every day creates momentum and strengthens your identity. Reading a few pages, exercising for a short time, or completing one important task may seem insignificant at first. But small actions repeated consistently create powerful results. Most people focus only on what they want to achieve, but they forget to focus on who they need to become. Goals create direction, but identity creates lasting change. When you see yourself as a disciplined person, your actions begin to match that belief. You no longer depend on motivation because discipline becomes part of who you are. Every small promise you keep strengthens your self-image and builds confidence. Over time, these repeated actions create a new identity. The person you become determines the results you achieve and the life you create. Many people only take action when they feel motivated, but emotions are constantly changing. Some days you feel focused and energetic, while other days you feel tired and distracted. Disciplined people understand that feelings should not control their actions. They create routines that continue even when motivation disappears. Success comes from doing what needs to be done, not only what feels comfortable. When you stop depending on emotions and start following your commitments, discipline becomes stronger. Your results are built by consistency, not temporary feelings. Many people believe success comes from making huge efforts, but real progress usually comes from small actions repeated consistently. A person who works hard for one day but stops afterward creates little change. Someone who takes small steps every day builds momentum over time. The brain responds to repetition by making behaviors easier and more automatic. Disciplined people understand that boring routines often create extraordinary results. They focus less on quick progress and more on staying committed. Consistency transforms simple actions into powerful long-term achievements. The brain is motivated by visible progress. When you can see your improvement, it becomes easier to continue moving forward. This is why successful people often track their habits, goals, and daily actions. A simple checklist or calendar can create a sense of achievement and encourage consistency. Each completed task becomes proof that you are becoming more disciplined. Progress does not always need to be dramatic. Small wins repeated over time create confidence and strengthen your commitment. When you measure your actions, you become more aware of your growth. One of the strongest signs of self-discipline is the ability to delay immediate rewards. Many people choose comfort now and sacrifice their future without realizing it. Disciplined people understand that short-term pleasure can create long-term problems. They are willing to do difficult things today because they know the results will be more valuable later. Whether it is saving money, studying, exercising, or building a skill, progress requires patience. Controlling your impulses gives you an advantage because you choose your future over temporary satisfaction. Imagine two people who both want to get healthier. One waits until they feel motivated, while the other simply walks for 20 minutes every day. After a few weeks, the motivated person stops because excitement fades. The disciplined person continues because the habit is already built. Months later, the difference becomes clear. The one relying on motivation struggles to stay consistent, while the one relying on discipline keeps improving. Small actions done daily always outperform random bursts of motivation over time because consistency builds results that motivation alone cannot sustain. Many people believe success comes from making huge efforts, but real progress usually comes from small actions repeated consistently. A person who works hard for one day but stops afterward creates little change. Someone who takes small steps every day builds momentum over time. The brain responds to repetition by making behaviors easier and more automatic. Disciplined people understand that boring routines often create extraordinary results. They focus less on quick progress and more on staying committed. Consistency transforms simple actions into powerful long-term achievements. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the only option for more content about psychology, confidence, discipline, and human behavior. Remember, motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. Build the habits your future self will thank you for, and keep becoming the person you admire. What you repeat daily shapes who you become. Stay consistent even when it feels slow, because progress is often invisible in the moment but obvious over time. Keep going, keep building, and let discipline lead the way toward the life you want.